When I first met Mia, it felt like I'd stumbled upon something rare. She was strikingly beautiful, but more than that, she was sharp, magnetic, and fiercely ambitious. We clicked instantly at a friend's get-together, sharing laughs over relatable office banter. It didn't take long before we were wrapped up in each other's worlds. We built a life full of shared plans, a cozy home, spontaneous trips, and dreams that felt within reach. I truly believed we were happy. But like with many things, the shift came quietly. At first, it was just little things. Late nights she chalked up to work, a certain glint in her eyes when she looked at her phone, and a distance that started to grow between us no matter how much I tried to bridge it. Mia worked in public relations, a field that demanded charisma, long hours, and a constant social presence. I understood the nature of her job, but recently it seemed like she was always on, always somewhere else. When I gently brought up her late evenings or the new perfume she had started wearing, she'd just smile and say, "You're overthinking." But I wasn't just being paranoid, I was observing. She began leaving her phone face down, locked it with a new passcode she wouldn't share, and the scent of that perfume lingered even when she claimed she'd only been in the office. There was too much that didn't add up. It all hit a peak on our anniversary. She told me she had to work late, saying it so casually without a trace of remorse. That was the moment I knew something was truly wrong. I didn't want to accuse her blindly, but I couldn't keep ignoring the signs either. Quietly, I started watching more closely. She had forgotten to turn off location sharing from a family tracking app. I used it. One evening when she left her car unlocked, I searched it. And one night, while she slept beside me, I opened her emails. The truth started to leak out in digital form. A string of messages exchanged with someone named Adrian. They weren't blatant, but the tone told me everything. The kind of tone that's far too personal for work. Private jokes, gentle teasing, and lines like, "You make me feel alive again." My stomach turned as I read them. That phrase stuck in my head like an echo. I wasn't proud of what I did next, but I needed something undeniable. I hired a private investigator. If she was betraying me, I wanted the truth in full. 2 weeks later, I had it. A report with photos. Mia and Adrian leaving a hotel together, his arm around her. Shots of them laughing in a bar, his hand resting intimately on her lower back. It was all there. No more room for doubt. The devastation was suffocating. I had trusted her, poured my loyalty and love into our relationship, and in return I got this. But I didn't lash out. Not right away. I decided that when I confronted her, I'd do it with clarity, with evidence, and in a way neither she nor Adrian could forget. Mia had been buzzing about an upcoming year-end company event, a big night with top-tier guests and important networking opportunities. She mentioned that Adrian would be there too. She even asked me to come along as her plus one, probably to keep up appearances. I said yes. Quietly, I began preparing. I gathered everything, saved the emails, backed up the images, printed the most revealing ones. I bought a sharp suit and rehearsed the calm confidence I'd need to carry that night. When the evening arrived, Mia looked breathtaking in her black dress. But I wasn't there to admire her. I was there to bring the truth into the light, and to remind both her and Adrian that some choices come with consequences. It was just a light kiss on my cheek before we left, a soft brush of her lips against my skin that carried an unexpected sharpness, almost like a warning. "Thanks for coming with me," she said, her voice sweet, but there was something in it that I couldn't quite place, an undertone that made my stomach churn. I managed a smile, though my insides were already twisting with a feeling of dread, anticipating what the evening would bring. The venue was grand, a luxurious ballroom lit by sparkling chandeliers, the kind of place where well-dressed professionals sipped champagne and exchanged pleasantries. Mia had introduced me to several of her colleagues, her hand resting on my arm casually as we mingled. I played my part as the beautiful husband, shaking hands and making small talk, all the while my mind racing with thoughts I didn't want to acknowledge. But then I saw him. Adrian. He was tall, exuding confidence with a smile that could charm anyone. He had that kind of natural charisma that made him well-liked, especially in the office. But when Mia saw him, her face lit up in a way that sent a jolt through me. My blood started to boil. "Adrian, this is my husband, Mara," Mia introduced us, her voice too bright, too forced. Adrian extended his hand and I gripped it firmly, locking eyes with him. I could tell he was uncomfortable, but it gave me a strange sense of satisfaction to see his unease. The night wore on and I bided my time, waiting for the perfect moment to make my move. That moment came during the speeches. The CEO called Mia and Adrian to the stage to recognize their work on a recent campaign. They stood side by side, smiling as the crowd applauded. My heart raced as I moved closer, the USB drive clenched tightly in my hand. "Excuse me," I said, my voice cutting through the applause, making everyone in the room stop and turn towards me. The sudden silence was thick with tension. Mia's smile faltered, confusion flickering across her face, but Adrian's expression remained neutral, though his eyes betrayed a brief flash of panic. "I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate my wife and her colleague," I began, keeping my tone calm but deliberate. "Not just for their professional accomplishments but for their personal ones as well." Mia's face drained of color. Adrian's smile froze in place. The CEO, clearly caught off guard, looked back and forth between the three of us, trying to understand what was happening. "You see," I continued, pulling the USB drive from my pocket, "while they've been impressing all of you with their work, they've also been busy sneaking around behind my back." Gasps rippled through the crowd as I held up the drive. "This contains emails, photos, and more that prove their extracurricular activities." Mia's hand shot to her mouth, eyes wide in shock, while Adrian took a step forward, likely to defend himself, but I cut him off. "Sit down, Adrian. You've said enough." He froze. I turned to the CEO. "I'm sure you'll want to review this. Considering the ethical implications." The CEO nodded stiffly, reaching out to take the USB drive. I handed it over without a word, then turned back to the room, addressing the gathered crowd. "I apologize for disrupting your evening," I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline pumping through me. "But I believe you all deserve to know the truth." With that, I walked out, leaving Mia and Adrian to face the fallout. Whispers and murmurs followed me all the way to the door. When Mia returned home that night, her makeup was smudged and her face was streaked with tears. "How could you?" she demanded, her voice breaking. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. How could you?" I shot back, my voice rising in anger. "How could I, Mia? How could you betray me like that after everything we built together?" She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. "It was a mistake," she repeated over and over. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "A mistake?" I scoffed coldly. "A mistake is forgetting our anniversary. What you did was a choice. Over and over again. And now you get to live with the consequences." The fallout was swift and unforgiving. Within days, Adrian was fired and Mia was placed on probation. Her reputation within the company was shattered, and soon our friends and family learned the truth. Mia begged for my forgiveness, asking for another chance, but it was too late. I couldn't find it in myself to forgive her. I filed for divorce and moved out, leaving her to pick up the pieces of her broken life. As for me, I started over. It wasn't easy, but I refused to let her betrayal define me. I found a new job, made new friends, and eventually met someone who reminded me what love was supposed to feel like. Someone who valued loyalty and honesty just like I did. Mia's life never truly recovered. The last I heard, she was working in a much lower position at a different company. Her ambition and charm no longer enough to wash away the stain of her actions. Adrian, too, faded into obscurity, a cautionary tale for anyone who thought mixing business with pleasure was a good idea. In the end, I didn't just survive her betrayal. I thrived. And that, I realized, was the best kind of revenge.